This is a problem even outside of OnlyFans. This is just a problem with like people who are super attractive in general. It doesn't always happen, but like there's like pretty boy syndrome, you know, or like pretty girl syndrome, where you're implicitly validated because you're attractive, and based off of that, you don't learn how to have a good work ethic. You never learn that you have to get value outside of your beauty, because beauty is a very temporary thing, right? Versus what you do, what you say can be forever. The ideas you express can go on long after you're here. What's next, chat? What is next? Oh, I wanted to watch this video, I think. People have been telling me to watch this video by Cameron. I've reacted to one of his videos before. He made the video about kick streamers and view botting, right? About neon view botting. He made this video about how OnlyFans ruined an entire generation. So I thought maybe we would weigh on in this a little bit, right? We'd weigh in, give some takes, you know. To be honest, I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about OnlyFans. I think it's probably better than traditional in terms of minimizing the harm to the actresses, is that what you call them? But yeah, I haven't really been up to date with the arguments, with the meta, with the discourse. I thought this was a conversation that got left in like 2018. So let's see what this guy has to say.
OnlyFans has completely ruined an entire generation. Dog, when I tell you, nuclear bombs couldn't even do nearly as much damage as what OnlyFans did to our society. Where I knew OnlyFans was getting bad, when I seen people not even giving life a shot at the age of 18 and going straight to OnlyFans once the clock hit 12. If you thought that Reddit, TikTok, 4chan, and Twitter did damage, just wait till you hear all the damage that OnlyFans has done in this video. Now for
Yeah, it's a little disturbing for sure. This is even a thing with like a few chicks I went to high school with started an OnlyFans like before high school was over. Like senior year, they had an OnlyFans. And I remember thinking like, is that really what you want your life to be? You know, is that really what you want your, like, you're just going to do already? Obviously, if you want to do that, it makes you happy, whatever. I don't think we should like legislate it, take it away from people, you know, but am I wrong to think that it's probably not the best thing in the world to be a star? Even modeling, to be honest with you, it doesn't seem like a very fulfilling life. They're just making money from the way you look. Obviously, there's work that goes into it to keep up your physical appearance and stuff like that, but I personally have never wanted my sex life to be like a public spectacle. And I think the majority of people are still on board with that. But then I mean, you've got girls like this guy just showed off, right? And she's not even 18. She's like praying, waiting for the moment when she can exploit herself online. It just seems, it's up, man. I feel like it's much more fulfilling to make a career off of what you have to say rather than how you look. Obviously, your looks can benefit you. You know, a lot of the most popular YouTubers are very attractive people. But I personally would rather derive my self-worth much more from what I have to say, right? And this is a problem even outside of OnlyFans. This is just a problem with like people who are super attractive in general. It doesn't always happen, but like there's like pretty boy syndrome, you know, where or like pretty girl syndrome, where you're implicitly validated because you're attractive. And based off of that, you don't learn how to have a good work ethic. You never learn that you have to get value outside of your beauty, because beauty fades. Beauty is a very temporary thing, right? Versus what you do, what you say can be forever. The ideas you express can go on long after you're here. Generally, people are not going to be remembered for how they look, apart from a few exceptions, right? And even if you are remembered for that, it's not like any of those people knew about you. They don't know who you are. They don't know anything about how you feel, what you had to say. You could have something really interesting to say. And if you reduce yourself down to your appearance, then that's all you are. Obviously, it's a personal choice, but just not my thing.
For the first damage that I think OnlyFans has done to society is that it's normalized a lot of weird behavior. We live in a time where people get their back blown out in front of a camera for thousands of people to see, but it's somehow okay because they make a lot of money. That is not normal, and that is not something that we should normalize /
I mean, but also, like, keep in mind, the average person on OnlyFans is not making, like, life-changing money, right? Obviously, at the top 1%, you've got people making some serious cash, right? But people at the bottom, I mean, they're basically they're posting naked photos of themselves. They're posting their sex life for everybody to see. And they're making like $30 a month. It must be so degrading as an OnlyFans girl to like not be making enough money. And then you like put it on sale. You always see this. My OnlyFans is on sale right now. They populate every Twitter thread with their replies, right? How degrading must it feel to be putting your physical appearance, your self-worth, and your sex life on sale? On sale. It's just, it can't be a good feeling.
Celebrate. Look, I understand that these OnlyFans girls be having Lambos, numerous penthouses, a few rollies, and more money than I could ever imagine, but at the same time, they also have zero dignity if they can proudly brag about how their cheeks are getting clapped online for $4.99 a month.
I mean, yeah, it depends on what your definition of dignity is, though. Some people generally just don't give a f, right? There are people out there who do OnlyFans, and they generally have no attachment to anything, right? They have no emotions around the fact that their body is being seen by everyone, or their sex life, you know, they're giving head on camera. They don't give a shit, right? They genuinely don't. There are people out there. They exist.
month. Why are we flexing our cheeks getting obliterated online? I just don't think that is just weird to me. Another thing about OnlyFans is that it completely...
I agree it's weird, but that's not a very good argument, to be honest with you. Like, I kind of agree, but it's not something I can really express outside of how I already have on the stream, right? It's not a very defensible position. So this, if an OnlyFans person sees this, they're gonna be like, oh, it's weird. I don't like. They've already been called weird by a ton of people, right? They don't give a
normalize adult films, aka... Like, I swear, back then, being an adult film star used to be one of the most frowned upon jobs ever. But OnlyFans has made it completely acceptable. Like, if somebody told you that they did OnlyFans, you genuinely wouldn't be surprised nowadays. But back then, that would have been one of the most shocking things to ever hear. Another weird behavior that OnlyFans has kind of normalized is spawn camping young women until they turn 18. For example, y'all remember when Danielle Bergoli started an OnlyFans 1 week after she turned 18 and she made $1 million?
Yeah, this is pretty disturbing, bro. Because for this to exist, it implies that there were a ton of men, thousands of men, waiting, praying for the moment she turned 18 so they could get off to her. I guess it's up. It's a little up, right? I feel like most of you would agree with that. Like, this spawn camping, they're like pussy. It's up.
Within just 6 hours of it releasing, that means that there were some grown adults out there that found Danielle Bergoli attractive as a young girl, but they wouldn't necessarily say that. So they chose their next best option, which was to wait for this young girl to turn 18. Now they can see her naked legally. Like, the concept of that being legal is just absolutely strange to me. And whoever bought that OnlyFans once she turned 18 needs to be locked up ASAP no Rocky. Like, I just find that insane, because there's no way that the demographic of these people buying Danielle Bergoli's OnlyFans were like maybe 18, 19, 20, 21. They had to be like 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, maybe even some 30-year-olds in there. And we know damn well that a lot
I mean, those are the guys that have the money to spend, right? They're the guys who have the excess cash, the expendable income to spend on an OnlyFans. Because young people, bro, dude, have you seen how much houses cost? It's a little ridiculous for me to complain about this as, like, you know, money-making YouTube guy. But just like being an average person just seems so right now for people my age. It seems so up. Everything is so expensive, bro.
A lot of these dudes that bought this OnlyFans didn't just randomly stumble across Danielle Bergoli the day that she turned 18. These dudes most definitely found her attractive as a young girl, and they just spawn camped their way until she made this OnlyFans. Now they can see her naked legally and go ham on the meat. Like, that's crazy to me. That is absolutely insane. There's also numerous TikTok girls out there who have also made OnlyFans once they turned 18, and they made bans because of these weirdos also. Like, it's one of the weirdest things ever, and this shouldn't be something that's like normal, you know? And as I speak, there's probably some 16-year-old TikTok girl out there that plans to make an OnlyFans once she turns 18. And there's probably tons of creepy old men waiting for that day to happen, which it's disgusting to even think about, if I'm being real. I think the age of OnlyFans should be at least 21, but obviously that never changed, because right now the age to sell adult content is 18 years old. And for OnlyFans to change their age, the whole law would have to change as a whole, and that's never gonna change. And since we're talking about weird behavior from OnlyFans,
I don't know that it should change either. You got to have a cutoff somewhere, right? I don't know that the law should really change. If the age of consent that we've determined is 18, that seems like that seems like an old enough age to consent to sex. It's a fine age, but I will say I obviously find it very disturbing that people are waiting around to donate to these chicks, waiting around to pay for their backshot videos or whatever. It's disturbing. It's very disturbing, brother. Oh, man. I used to be able to throw my diaper for nearly nothing. Now it costs an arm and a leg. True. Good point.
There's a lot of lies that goes on with just the business itself. Like, there's a lot of grown women on there lying about being 18 and 19 years old to sell more subscriptions, which is just absolutely insane. Even though those are legal ages, I still think it's weird to lie about your age to sell more subs. For example, do y'all remember that one?
I mean, they're already posting themselves naked online, like, at that point. They're kind of completely shameless, in my opinion, right? Like, if they're already willing to post their asshole on Instagram or whatever, like, why would they not be willing to do this? The internet flips society upside down. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to the internet. Like, information is so much more accessible. You can access, like, almost any piece of information you want at any point in time. But, you know, the problem with that is also censorship exists in a whole new way. You know, industries that never existed before now exist. For artists, it's so much easier to get paid. It's so much easier to be a creative person. But then also the people that do make it, as far as like streaming numbers, are not very high for Spotify, right, at all. So my understanding, Spotify is barely even a profitable company, and that's part of why artists don't get paid that much, because they're just not that profitable of a company. It's very expensive to run that platform. And on top of that, then people will be like, oh, we'll just raise prices, right? We'll just raise the price. Well, if Spotify raises the price from, what is it? It's like $10 a month. What do I pay for Spotify? Spotify Premium. cost. Okay, so it's $6 a month for students. It goes up to $17 a month for families. $10.99 for couples. Okay, if they were to raise the price on that to like $25 or $30 in a way that would like benefit artists more, then you know what's going to happen? People are going to be like, oh, I don't like this. I've had Spotify for so long. You know, I had access to all this music. I'm going to go to Apple Music, or what the else is there? Amazon Music, Pandora. They're going to go somewhere else. The charge is less. I also feel like this is kind of like a tangentially related problem that I don't think everyone experiences, but I feel like when I was a kid, I appreciated the stuff I had way more, and I got to actually enjoy movies and shows and games and whatever because it was the only stuff I had. But now that I'm an adult and I can like buy any game I want, I can watch any movie I want at any time. I have all these subscription services. There's so many options. I feel like I'm never satisfied. Like I feel like I'm always picking an option and then like just being unsatisfied with it. Versus when I was younger and like I had like a certain set amount of things I could access, I just enjoyed things more. Like I just had to listen to certain shit and I appreciated it more. There's kind of an illusion of options. I feel like a slave to my options at this point in time.
PC TikTok girl, Pinky Doll.
Ice cream so good. Ice cream so good. Gang gang.
So she actually used to
This girl's crazy.
lie and say that she was 19 years old to sell more subs,
Whoa.
when in reality, she was 27. And this actually happens a ton on Twitter. You'll see mad girls talking about they're the hottest 18-year-old on OnlyFans. Whole time,
They always do this. I mean, they're completely shameless too. They'll see a post of someone being like, my grandfather just died, and they'll respond instantly, be like, I'm the hottest 18-year-old in OnlyFans. Sorry your grandfather died. My pussy is about to get beat up too. Just like your grandfather got put in the grave. Let's say like that. It's crazy, bro.
47 with 6 kids. Like, it's insane. A girl could legit be 67 years old with the saggiest yitties of all time. But for some reason, she's in
Yitties?
every Twitter comment
Who says yitties? I've never heard yitties. Is that to like get around the YouTube age restrictions? Yitties? I've never heard anyone say yitties in my life.
section talking about I'm the hottest 18-year-old on OnlyFans. Yeah, you were the hottest girl 51 years ago, Sharon. Hang it up. Like I said, I think it's weird to just straight up lie about your age to sell more subs. Like, that's just disgusting. And even the old ass men out there that are buying these girls OnlyFans, they're also just as disgusting, if not even more disgusting. Now, another reason why I think that OnlyFans completely ruined society is because it made the internet even worse for women. Now, y'all are gonna call me a simp and white knight for this, but just hear me out before you
He's a true feminist.
run to the comment section talking about my forehead is big. Just wait 1 second. Just hear me out. The reason why I say that OnlyFans made the internet even worse for women is because it made dudes comfortable with telling random girls online that they don't even know to make OnlyFans accounts if they find them attractive. It's the weirdest thing ever. Like,
I mean, you say that, but guys have been making weird comments online forever, right? Like, as long as there's anonymity, dudes are going to be comfortable with saying crazy shit, even if there's not. Bro, I've known girls who are like semi-popular on Instagram, and if you see their DM requests, they're insane. They're so nuts. Some like people from their regular account will just message them like, let me suck your feet. Like 40-year-old guy with like pictures of his kids on his account. You go to the DM to the OnlyFans girl, it's like, oil up. I could treat you so right. Like, this is not like a new thing at all.
Like, if a girl goes viral and she just happens to be attractive, the first thing that dudes are gonna say is to make an OnlyFans. It's the weirdest thing ever. For example, do y'all remember the Home Depot girl? For y'all that don't know, there's basically this girl who went viral on
I've never seen this person in my life.
Twitter because she was attractive and she worked at Home Depot. And the first thing that dudes were telling her to do once they saw her was to make an OnlyFans. Like, peep some of these comments. Hear me out. OnlyFans and you equals rich. If you want to make an OnlyFans, real niggas wouldn't judge you. When OF? You're telling me that you see an attractive woman online and your first thought is she should make an OnlyFans?
I mean, for some of them, genuinely, yeah. I think a lot of that is just a desensitization to... I saw this tweet the other day. I feel like I'm not as much of an incel as I thought I was. I saw this tweet that was like, it was right on the money. This person said, brain has routed so many people's minds, they forget that women are indeed human and normal looking, and nothing is wrong with that. But they hold them to this insane standard because of society, and they do this while looking like you fed it after midnight. And the context is, imagine if women couldn't wear makeup, and it's like this picture. I mean, obviously, like, she's like less attractive without makeup. Like, obviously, I don't think you can deny that. But like, the idea that like this person is like disgusting without makeup or like an ugly person is completely. But I saw this tweet and I was like, okay, that's interesting. So I was like, who is this person? And I clicked their thing, and then the top result is a Fansly. So I was like, I mean, maybe this isn't a Fansly where she sells. I mean, I see the water drops, so I'm kind of assuming it's some kind of lewd thing, but like, I agreed with her take, like 100%. And then I clicked on her account, And I was like, wait, but you're literally directly contributing to the problem you don't like. Like it's like how can you even, is this like a bait take or something? I don't really understand.
Just find that insane. And honestly, I salute this woman to the fullest because at the end of the day, she chose her morals over money. She could have made life-changing bands off of OnlyFans, but she just chose to stick with her normal job and just create IG Reels and make YouTube videos when the whole world was telling her to create an OnlyFans. Like, that is hard to do in a world where OnlyFans girls be having Lambos and just regular working women have Toyota Priuses.
This is the thing where it's like, I feel like it's almost hard to blame any of these girls because there's so much money to be made from it, right? And it is genuinely so much harder to make money from, I don't know, being a streamer or something. I don't know, giving your opinion, having a normal ass job, right? It's so much harder to do that than like if you're a hot girl, you just post your online, your yitties online, and you can very easily just make a bunch of money. If you're in that top 1%, they lose it within a year because they don't know how to handle money. Well, for many of them, yes, but that's not an OnlyFans girl thing. That's just the average person in general. The average person, if they're given a bunch of money, has no idea how to handle it. That's like why. What's that statistic? It's like 70% of lottery winners go bankrupt within a year, right? The average person, if they're poor, oftentimes part of the reason they're poor, not all of them, but a lot of the time, part of the reason they're poor is because they don't know how to handle their money at all. And then if you're poor and you get a bunch of money, you assume it's going to last forever. It's just going to go forever and ever. You're never going to need to worry about money again. You're delusional about it. You don't know how to save. You don't know how to invest. So you completely lose that money within months. It happens to a lot of people. I'm very thankful I had my parents on my ass when I started making money on YouTube because they were like, don't spend it on that. Don't spend it on that. It made me very Jewy. I became Mr. Stack. And I aim to continue being Mr. Stack. That's why I was just able to buy a house because I didn't do the thing and buy like a I didn't buy an R8 as much as I wanted to. I did not. But I could have made a very silly decision on that one.
Like, that is a hard task. And this actually happens to a lot of women that create content. Because if you look at their comment section on like IG Reels or maybe TikTok, or maybe even like if a girl is doing a YouTube Q&A, the first question that a lot of dudes are gonna ask is if that girl is gonna make it OnlyFans. Like, bro, it's crazy.
It's just like headaches, basically.
Because if you do have an OnlyFans,
see a hot girl, you're like, I gotta see her naked right now.
Nowadays, people are gonna.
Well, isn't even a. I mean, when you're just young and horny, you obviously that's something you think about. But I think genuinely requesting for them to be naked is crazy.
You to find God, but if you don't have one, people are gonna beg you to make one. Like, it's a lose-lose situation. Another reason why I think OnlyFans made the internet even worse for women is because it also completely ruined Linktree / just women having links in their bio. Like, y'all know how on Instagram people usually will have like a link in their bio and that link will take you to maybe like a YouTube, Twitch, or maybe even like a clothing brand. Well, it's gotten to the point where if a woman has a Linktree in her bio, the first assumption that a lot of dudes are gonna make, even myself, is that that girl probably has an OnlyFans.
I mean, okay, maybe that's an assumption you make, but you can tell if it's an OnlyFans girl or not, okay? The easy way to just tell without even clicking the link tree is you go to their account. Are they posting sexy / revealing pictures of themselves? If they are, they probably have an OnlyFans. If not, then they probably don't, right? Because what they do is they use Instagram or Twitter or whatever website they're on that's like a public-facing website that doesn't allow... Well, Twitter does allow actually now, doesn't it? But a website that's not primarily for to funnel people to the paid subscription service, right?
When in reality, that girl could just have like a Twitch link in that link tree, right? But since these OF girls are running so rampant nowadays and you can see them everywhere, every dude is gonna automatically assume that any girl with a link in her bio has an OnlyFans. Like, it's sad to say, but it's true. Another reason why I think OnlyFans ruined society is because it gave people this money over morals mindset. If there's one...
That's always been the thing, though. Like, in a capitalist system, not to go socialist, whatever, but that's always been the thing, right? Within a capitalist system where the sky is the limit to some extent, right? Like, the money over morals thing has always been a trade-off. There's always been criminals. There's always been gangsters. Like, they have chosen money over morals, obviously to a more extreme degree, right? OnlyFans girls aren't literally murdering people, but, like, there's always been this. OF pushed that hard. I mean, it's just more accessible now. You've always been able to do stuff like that, right? You've always been able to make that decision, to make that trade-off. But also, like, in modern day, a lot of people have no shame around you know, body positivity, whatever you want to call it, right? So it's just human nature becoming more accessible to erode away at. But a lot of people genuinely don't have any qualms about being a star or whatever, right? They don't care. Money over morals has always been a thing. It's just you see it so clearly now because of the accessibility aspect. Yeah, because everything online has been commodified, right? So, like, it used to be being a star was more of a difficult thing to get into. You had to be on like VHS tapes or whatever, the Playboy, I guess. But now it's so easy. Anyone can just make an OnlyFans if you're 18 years old. You can just like that, right? So I don't think OnlyFans ruins society. This isn't a societal problem. Or sorry, it's not a new societal problem, rather. This has always been a thing. You just see it more now. Tom Dark, people are like, but it's free. Yes, it's free, but it's not what people are buying OnlyFans. People buy OnlyFans because of the interactions with the star herself. Yeah, that's my understanding, basically, right? Because you can just watch, like you can just go on right now and jerk off. But like these OnlyFans girls, they have a guy, they have like a manager. This is like what Andrew Tate made his money off of initially. They have a manager, and the entire role of that manager is to respond to the guy's DMs as them. There's like a 99% guarantee that unless you're talking to like an OnlyFans person who has like one subscriber and is you, then if you're donating, whatever, paying for their OnlyFans, and you're messaging them, you're messaging like their boyfriend or their like manager.
One thing that OnlyFans has taught me, it's that people are almost always gonna pick that dollar over their morals on any given day. The other day, I seen this post by Ruby Rose that said, "Yo bitch got morals, I got millions." Well, excuse me, Miss Ruby. I never knew that having no morals was a flex. But at the same time, I don't know what I was supposed to expect from somebody that said, sometimes you have to lie about your age when it comes to NFL players. At 16 years old, she had no morals.
Jesus Christ, what the person's like a victim. Jesus Christ.
10 years ago, and she still has no morals today. It's insane. Don't get me wrong. Money is a really important thing in life because without money, you can't do a majority of things. But that money shouldn't matter if you don't have any morals / if it goes against your morals. Like, not all money is good money. Yeah, that money from OnlyFans might be good, but at the same time, it comes with a greater cost, which is your dignity and future.
Yeah, I generally agree with that. I mean, the thing is, right? We live in a very short-sighted society. I'll agree with that more than ever because online things are so touch and go. It's like, you know, you're relevant one day, you're not relevant the next. Everything feels like it's just passing by constantly. You're caught up in the hamster wheel of life. You know, people need money more than ever. The economy sucks, and so from that perspective, incel take it's not an incel take. It's not an incel take at all. There are genuine consequences that come from being a star, being on OnlyFans, right? There are serious, genuine consequences that come with that. If you have kids later on, your kids are going to get bullied because you can instantly see naked pictures of you online. All their classmates can instantly see that. The average guy does not want to marry a girl who did OnlyFans or did, right? Like, you know, the average guy can accept that a girl has a body count to a certain extent, you know, it's whatever. I mean, if it's getting up there, they're probably not going to accept it, but, you know, guys will be accepting of that. But if they can see you get blown out, get your back blown out on the internet at any point in time, obviously they're going to have qualms about that, right? There's going to be problems with that. And then beyond that, if you want to work for like a legitimate business, there are definitely scenarios in which you're going to have a hard time getting hired because anytime someone looks up your name, if you're trying to work for this normal front-facing, you know, family-friendly, maybe business, customer-facing business, and anybody looks up your name and you work there, they're going to see you naked and sucking a dick. And some people don't want to see that. They really don't, you know, so it can be quite difficult.
I swear, people don't even care about their digital footprints anymore. Because, bro, OnlyFans literally leaves a permanent stain on your life. It leaves a mark on your future family. And I'm telling you, once your kids find out that you did OnlyFans back in your heyday, that's going to be a pretty odd topic to even talk about.
Yeah, I think this is generally true. I think it's going to be a lot of uncomfortable conversations, and there's going to be, you know, obviously we're not that deep into OnlyFans yet. It's been, 5 years it's been a popular thing, basically, maybe 6. I feel like it's like 2017, 18, you started really hearing about it, but I think within 10 years we're going to see a lot of women talking about how they really regret doing OnlyFans and how it ruined certain aspects of their life, for sure.
I remember when that one blonde OnlyFans girl, Elle Brooke, was on Piers Morgan, and she was basically saying how her kids are going to cry in a Ferrari once they figure out that she did OnlyFans.
How would you feel when you want to have kids yourself?
Well, I mean, I don't really want kids right now. But
You will do. How old are you?
25.
Right, so you will do at some stage, probably, right?
Maybe.
When you do, you're going to be proud that you have your little ones and they look at you and go, didn't you want to be a lawyer, Mummy? What happened?
Yeah.
And you go, yeah, but look at all my stuff.
They can cry in a Ferrari.
Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, that Ferrari is cool and all. It's pretty fast, and I mean, it does look nice. But once your kid gets out that Ferrari and walks through those school doors, it's over for that man.
That's not everything, right? I think that having a certain amount of money definitely helps in raising kids, undoubtedly. Like if you're dirt poor, you're gonna have a much harder time raising kids than if you aren't dirt poor. But at a certain extent, it's not like raising a kid in a really rich way, right? Where they have like a fast car, you get them a Ferrari when they're 16 years old as soon as they can drive. I don't think that's going to be beneficial for them, you know? Some of the really rich kids I knew growing up, because I went to like a relatively wealthy white high school, I would say, right? I come from a, relatively well-off family. There's no doubt about it. But some of the like really rich kids who were just given like crazy fast cars right off the bat, they turned out to be pretty boring people because they just had it handed to them, In their mind, they didn't have to work for it. That's not always the case. There were wealthy kids I went to school with who are doing very well right now, from what I understand. I mean, obviously, I'm not that far into life. I'm at like the finishing college age, so I haven't seen the full picture yet. Got another 10, 20 years before I can really see where things go. But undoubtedly, this is a big aspect of it. And I don't think that having a Ferrari is going to make that kid's life that much better than if he had a Toyota Corolla. I really don't. It's just me, says Tom. It's easy to hit on these young OF girls, but in this economy, the rise of male loneliness and it being much easier to be a star online, why wouldn't you capitalize off of it? I mean, yeah, that's the difficult thing, right? Especially when you're young and you can't really think long term about it. Like, there's definitely a lot of money to be made, but I think a lot of these girls are really going to regret it in not that long, man. I think they are. I do feel bad for them because when you're young, it's hard to see. It's hard to see the long arc of life. But life is a long game, make no mistake, and you really need to play it that way to be happy long term, You don't want to get to the end of your life and have a bunch of regrets. You don't. Be careful with your decisions.
It takes one kid in that school to find out you did OnlyFans. Now your son is getting his head dunked into a toilet on a Wednesday morning before PE class. You're telling me that it's okay that you get clapped online, pile drive, put in a DDT, and put in the walls of Jericho, all on camera for the world to see, but it's somehow fine because you have a Ferrari? That is absolutely insane. If you thought that bullying was bad now, just wait until 20 years from now. These roast sessions are about to get brutal. That's why you're ugly and your breath stinks. That's why your mom did OnlyFans.
Destroyed. I mean, he's right. He's definitely right. I've definitely seen news articles about kids getting bullied, and it's like, why are you being bullied? And then the answer instantly is like, oh well, everybody saw my mom's ass getting blown out by Tyrone Magnus. Like, it's just not good.
If your mom did OnlyFans, you might as well go mute because that's the safest option. Like, these OnlyFans pictures are never gonna leave the internet. I don't think people realize that. And also, just because you retire from OnlyFans, that doesn't mean that the pictures and videos retire as well. For example, do y'all remember the ex-adult film star Mia Khalifa? The other day, she was actually on Twitter talking about how the singer Tyla should stay away from these lil streamers because Kai Cenat and Tyla recently did a stream with each other. And when I tell you, all hell broke loose in the comment section because people just started dropping pictures of her getting clapped from like 8 years ago, dog. And that's what I mean by these pictures never really leave the internet. It doesn't matter when you retire, these pictures are always going to be there, dog. That scene probably happened ages ago, but since it's online, that picture is now forever. And what's even sadder is that when these OnlyFans girls do try to be serious and turn their lives around, no one ever takes them seriously. Like, if an OnlyFans girl tried to transition into different content, like maybe YouTube or like Twitch streaming, it wouldn't work because a lot of people are only going to see them as that girl that was getting clapped on camera.
Yeah, not only that, but there's that expectation, right? So the audience they have, if they're trying to promote their new platform to their audience is not going to be there for them to hear what they have to say. It's all going to be based off this parasocial relationship they have with them, based off of them being hot. It's disappointing. It's sad. I kind of feel bad for these girls, bro. I'm trying to be less hateful, okay? I'm trying to see the human side, even when I don't really like what they're doing. I feel bad for them. I don't think they thought very long term about it. Maybe they were poor. They were like, I want to get money. Sasha Grey was successful. I mean, there's undoubtedly outliers, right? There are people who can make it, but I would say aggregately, this seems true to me. I don't have a study for it.
I mean, it has worked in some instances, but a majority of the time, it's not gonna work at all. For example, there's this one OnlyFans girl named Nala who basically stopped doing OnlyFans to pursue religion. And when I tell you, nobody took her seriously. Did she get baptized in semen? Biggest meme of all time. This is delusion at its finest. Your entire internet presence is you not choosing God. And honestly,
well, I mean, that's what they say, but in fairness, the entire point of Christianity, of religion, is like you can repent, you can be redeemed in the eyes of the Lord, right? So based off of that, I mean, if there's any Christians shaming her about it, they seem like a bad Christian. But obviously, heads online are going to say what they're going to say, right? They're going to do what they're going to do. Material doesn't matter to me. It's going to be dirt someday. I mean, but for real, love, humanity, and all that we have. I mean, materialism definitely matters to me to an extent. Obviously, I like nice things, Not clothes really, but I don't know. I care about having like a nice house and a nice car. But I feel like to an extent, the materialism should not be costing you friendship, opportunities, your dignity. You know, you don't want to be ashamed of the way you're making money. If you are, you're probably going to really regret that in a few years.
Like, even though it's messed up, these comments are messed up, I can understand why. Because number one, it happened all of a sudden. And number two, she used to get clapped online, and that was her previous internet presence. Like, she went from worshiping the BBC to worshiping the Bible. Like, that's a pretty drastic change. So it makes sense to why people don't really take her serious. But that just goes to show how much of a stain OnlyFans puts on your life. You can't even convert to religion without people cooking on you and saying that you're doing it for clout or just bringing up your...
I mean, yeah, I don't know, it just seems like kind of, I mean, you're right. He's right in terms of how people see it. It's probably not worth it as a result of that. But like realistically, is that it's just not a very Christian thing to do. I'm not even a Christian. I'm not a Christian at all. Okay. But the entire point of Christianity, from my understanding, is like you can repent. You can become a better person. You don't have to be defined by your past forever. If I was a girl, I'm 21 and I'm struggling with money, seeing all these other girls make money selling nudes online, that opportunity to make tons of money just selling nudes, I would take it. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily blame you for thinking that way. I think long term you might regret that, but yeah, obviously that's the case, right? Very obviously.
Past. Like, it's sad, but at the end of the day, like, I can't really be mad at these people who are cooking on her, you know? All that being said, OnlyFans has done a lot of damage in today's society, and I think that OnlyFans is like the new cigarette of this generation. Hear me.
Hey, cigarettes are way better than OnlyFans, okay? Do not say that. Cigarettes are based. Cigarettes are Sigma. They're red-pilled. Don't say that, asshole, okay? This guy's channel sucks. Unsubscribe. Ban him.
Out because I actually think this is like a really great analogy. At first, cigarettes were cool, trendy, and everyone was doing it because, I mean, there really was no research backing up why cigarettes were bad. Yeah, it was smoke going into your lungs, but somehow in the 1950s and 60s, that was considered healthy. But now, 60 years later, we've realized all the negative effects of smoking from all these studies we've done. And I think the exact same thing is gonna happen with OnlyFans. It may seem cool, trendy, and normal now, but 40 years from now, people are gonna realize how much damage OnlyFans has done to their lives.
I don't know if they will. I feel like there might always be a cope about it just because of how politics has progressed online, you know. I think social acceptance in general is good. Body positivity in general is probably a good thing. But at the same time, I think the freedom that everyone has and the accessibility to these things could have seriously negative long-term effects. But I don't think it's going to be a broad societal conversation in like 40 years, honestly. I think people are just going to... I mean, there will be a few people talking about it, right? But there's already like, that's a conversation that people have had about how bad it is, how bad addiction is. And like, it's still a giant industry. They didn't really stop it. I don't really think that's going to happen.
Even though I don't really support girls doing OnlyFans and adult content, it is sad to see people unalive themselves for their past mistakes.
That was a good video. Good video by Cameron. Yeah, I think that he makes a lot of valid points. I feel like there's maybe a broader scope that could have been explored here. I mean, it was a very short rant video, but yeah, I mean, I agree with the general sentiment. I'm trying to be, and I'll probably go back on this at some point, I'm trying to not shame people as much for their decisions. I'm trying to like avoid the ad hominems, but I'll probably go back to it at some point. I'll probably call some girls, but I'm trying not to. I'm trying to like see beyond that, empathize with their position and understand why they do what they do. Okay.
Oh, I think I got the fever. I'm heated, pumping up the meter. Roll me a ringleader, bad party bleeder. Take this with a storm, lead after lead after leader. Hey, can you dig it? I come alive, y'all, give me what you got. Back up, pump, shake up, pump your fist up. You took the shot of the buckshot, to bust, slip up. Morning like a kid, gonna make it feel alright. Move it up all night, body rock, show me what you got. Make my break, slip up. Morning like a kid, gonna make it feel alright. Move it up all night, body rock, show me what you got. Make my break, hey.